Hi Josh and Alex, I'm here to present my final two. I wanted to start my video off by saying I'm truly very grateful for you guys supporting me in everything I was going through during my time at University of Utah, and you guys definitely were very supportive of me and made college a lot smoother, as smooth as possible I should say, regarding my situation, and a lot of things were happening, and like you know, I did have to leave University of Utah, and there was a lot of factors that went into that. So thank you guys again for being so understanding, and it really does mean a lot. Yeah, I will get into my final now. So I am creating, like I said, I stated I will be creating a short, roughly 10-minute video of myself explaining what I did, how the activities affected me and my community, while also mentioning the pathways I explored in the process. I will be researching the homeless shelter, The Road Home, which is one that I serve food at during the months of October and November. I will be researching their values, goals, and ways they help the Salt Lake community. I want to start off with the activities I did partake in during my time at University of Utah and the pathways I explored through those. First pathway I would like to talk about is community engaged learning and scholarships. While I would argue that anyone in the Hive or anyone in the class that we are taking would be participating in this pathway, I wanted to mention the Brave Conversation Guns on Campus specifically because I really felt like it was an opportunity for me to speak my mind on this topic, which might not be something a lot of people are comfortable talking about. But I think that personally I had done some research on the topic of surrounding guns on campus and the effect they have on people. Very exciting and interesting, and it was really nice to hear everyone else's opinion. So my second pathway that I explored was community activism and organizing, and to do so I partook in multiple protests throughout the semester. These protests originally I was really just trying to knock off another pathway to explore at the start of the semester because I knew I could get out of the way, and I had never really been to a protest before, and it's my first time. While the turnout was relatively small, smaller than expected for both of them, I did enjoy my time there a lot, and I definitely think it was very admirable for someone so young, like a college student, to put something like that together on campus in front of all their peers. And even though the turnout was not maybe what was expected, I think that it was a very brave decision to do it not only the first time, but another time after the turnout. And so I think exploring that pathway definitely was very interesting. And the protests themselves were definitely a lot smaller and maybe might not have had as large of an impact on our parking situation as it would have if there was a larger impact. I do think that it impacted our community still and was a good way for the start of the semester to meet new people who do have similar interests as you, such as parking. To explore direct/indirect engagement, I served at the Road Home and Park Homeless Shelter. Service projects such as gardening for Legacy of Lao, and then placing flags on the graves of those who have served and have passed away. We did that over Veterans Day. The project sewing those Make-A-Wish hearts was honestly really interesting. I have sewn before and have enjoyed it, and it was really bringing back an old hobby almost of mine that I hadn't explored in a while. So not only was I checking off that to-go project that was needed for the Hive, I was also really enjoying myself doing so. So my last way of exploring indirect engagement was at Utah Reads Tutoring. I was a tutor for young children who live in typically underfunded schools who are in need of some more help and assistance, and Utah Reads was a really great opportunity for me to explore this pathway and learn a little bit more about myself. I loved and enjoyed working with these children and seeing the difference that I made in their everyday lives. And while my time at Utah Reads was short-lived, I really felt I made a valuable impact on these children's lives, and I loved watching them grow confidence in their reading, and it was just really beautiful, honestly. And if I was able to come back at the second semester, I would have loved to stay in Utah Reads. The Road Home, I want to talk about deeper and how it impacted my life and how it impacts our community and what exactly they have to offer. So volunteering at the Road Home, I was serving food to the line in the kitchen, and I was just plating different trays and helping serve to those in need. I really do feel great about doing this. I think that it is very important that we provide this for our community, especially in the Utah area where poverty is growing immensely. I think it's really important that our community feels safe, and people who are unhoused or in need of food or anything are able to find those resources, and the Road Home provides a lot of those for our community. The Road Home, I would argue, is one of the biggest and most providing homeless shelters in the area. I want to talk about specifically what they have to offer our community. The Road Home is a homeless shelter, and they have 2 different types of services. So they have 2 different programs, I should say. So one of them is going to be the Rapid Rehousing Program, and this program is a short-term rental support for people who are currently unhoused. And this program provides things like childcare, food, and employment opportunities, and I think that it is really important for those who are in emergency situations. Their second program that they offer is going to be their supportive housing program. This is a program more of a long-term solution, and so this program is for people who have been chronically homeless, and chronically homeless is defined a person with a disability experiencing homelessness for a year or more and need continuous assistance. So with this support system, the Road Home offers not only housing, but also assistance to improve their health, quality of life, and helps with long-term stability. So they find things like employment and food resources, kitchen supplies, beds, anything like that. Their goal is to make this transition as smooth as possible, and they do this in different apartments across the Salt Lake community. So there is the Magnolia apartment complex, which has 65 units, the Wendell apartments, which have 32 units, and then the Palmer Court apartments, which have 201 units. Renovated in 2009, these apartments were originally a Holiday Inn and are now a permanent housing solution for disabled houseless people. This complex has on-site resources, and these resources are Head Start, health support, employment opportunities, childcare, and I think this is really amazing that Salt Lake community has this kind of assistance within the community. The Road Home partners with the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, and so this is to make sure that every veteran in the Salt Lake community has somewhere to live and has access to food and everything that you may need. Veterans will receive long-term stability solutions, so furthering their employment and access to benefits that they may have on site. The Road Home receives funding from multiple different ways. So they receive private donors funding, government funding, United Way, and fundraising events, and these are all ways that the Road Home sources their income and is able to provide this for the community. And there is a link on their website where you're able to gift a donation of stock or other bonds, or just a normal donation like of a balance. The Pamela Atkinson Trust Fund is another source of funding that the Road Home utilizes, and this is named after a long-term community advocate. It is funded by state legislation and receives contributions from individual taxpayers, so there is a way to donate on your tax form. This trust fund supports homeless organizations all over the state, and the Road Home being one of them, and people are able to donate online. State liquor stores also offer the option to round up and donate to the fund. I want to bring up the difference between the shelters that I worked at. I volunteered at the Road Home and the Park homeless shelter, and I didn't know, but Park is owned and operated by the Road Home, and so while it is a men's only facility, Park receives and supports all of the same benefits that the Road Home would offer. So the men in this housing are receiving the same benefits receiving the same access to support as the Road Home offers, and that includes like beds, kitchen supplies, anything like that, the short-term housing program, and then the long-term support housing program. In summary, I explored 3 pathways this semester, and I really enjoyed doing so. While my favorite was direct engagement, my most surprising pathway that I did really enjoy was definitely community activism, and I was very surprised because I had never really seemed interested in something like this. Like, I think a lot of people hear like activism and think like very like political issues, which are very important to me as well. I have never thought to really partake in any protests like this, even though I live in Portland. I just had never really thought about it, and I was really surprised and also very grateful that I was able to explore this opportunity, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I really feel like exploring these different pathways, I have gained so much knowledge. I had no idea I love working with kids so much, and how impactful one person really can be on the community. Exploring these pathways was very meaningful, not only to the community, but also to myself. I feel like there was a lot of self-discovery made, especially in Utah Reads. I really discovered that I love working with children, and love being a part of those kids' lives was really special to me. Working in these environments really gave me a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose. I really felt like I was able to help the community in ways that you wouldn't even think about. And I really appreciate being able to have this opportunity and be able to take a class like this. I just want to state again how thankful I am for both of you guys for being so understanding and supportive of me throughout the semester. Like I said, I was going through a very hard time of my life, and college was very hard for me, and there were multiple factors that led up to me being unable to take a second semester at the University of Utah, and I really do wish I could continue working with the Hive and working with Utah Reads, but I am just very grateful that you guys were so understanding and very flexible with deadlines, and I just cannot thank you guys enough. So thank you so much, and goodbye.